E, som A, som, teste, oi, 1, 2, 3, som A, e, som, teste, oi, som A.
Sorry? You also have to run. We need to back out. Today is going to be tough because I have The minister of Uzbekistan is coming here. I will have a seat with him here. Once you, huh? What? Uzbekistan? Uzbekistan.
Stand for recovery.
Yes. Where? This is yours? put it on yours. Yes, thank you. This is yours. Finish? I put it here. Because for... You lock the door. Scare me. Stéphane, we're live. On est live. Just check this out. On te voit, on a toute la vision. On voit pas les chaises.
Un, deux. Okay, hello everyone. So, first of all, okay, hello everyone. So I'm more than happy to welcome you. We are in the Hello everyone, I'm Stéphane, CEO of Energy 2050. We are on the World Green Economy Organization Pavilion in Stockholm, and it's my pleasure to welcome you for this morning discussion. We will discuss about the renewable energy topic access in Africa, but especially also on the financing mechanism to support, with a focus on one project, very interesting one, which is called Sunny. And this project is dealing with, just explain it after, is dealing with the refugees, rural hosting communities, and how we can support the process. So you will see it's quite an interesting topic, and it has a lot of challenging questions for the country can endorse, or at least take into consideration in their NDC, NAS, or other, let's say, alternative strategy. So I have the pleasure to do these two colleagues. So from, I don't pronounce your name, I will pronounce it because of the time I make mistake. He is from the Réseau Cuba Development. It is a significant network in Africa, especially focusing on the French-speaking countries. And we are also a colleague from Dr. André Emmanuel Chio from the UN University based in Bonn. So it's interesting also. And by the way, we were supposed to have two speakers from Rwanda and Uganda for collection of Kera Energy. But as you may be aware, there are many technical issues in stock. So I just discovered that it's not possible for them to be connected. And also that the videos, the spare video that was supposed to be helpful here, we have no noise. So by the way, I will hear what they were supposed to say. And so sorry for my two colleagues who are connected somewhere. all,
You already
we
started.
do two works, so we had already the completed course of this year for the first team. Within energy efficiency, so the international NGO working on systemic approach of
Good news
development
for
on
your
a number of
organization.
pillars and topics.
This year,
And among others, we are
Uzbekistan was
doing
declared
social
as
field, we
we
are
have
working on
such
the
a
climate finance, or on
custom.
energy access,
Every
or
year,
also on the
Uzbekistan
environment.
focused in
The
one or
topic,
two
both
main
at the
pillars.
national and or international
Main
level,
topics.
but also mainly with sponsoring local governments
This year
and
was
with
declared as the
stakeholder
year of
coalition. And before
environmental
with the study
protection
project,
and green
I will give the
economy.
floor for my two
Yeah, this
colleagues
is exactly
who
what we
also
are doing
present
here.
themselves and also to present their institution so
So,
that we can run after the
Uzbekistan
report.
is,
So for who you want to go, Dr. Abe?
quite quickly developing country, and we also involved many international activities. We are very active in many international organizations. So, just during last 3 years, we have hosted big international events. For example, we hosted UNCCD Quick 21. It's also important event. We hosted CMS, it's on the Migratory Species Convention, COP 40 last year. So just last week we also hosted UNESCO General Conference. 2 years ago we hosted UN Tourism Organization General Conference. So next week we will host CITES COP 20. So maybe we can visit and learn more about Uzbekistan. And also next year we will host Jeff Jeff, you know about Jeff. So, and let's say we are maybe most active country in Central Asia.
And we are part of the Optimized Development quite a long time.
We are facing a
So,
lot of
before starting, I will try
environmental
to
challenges.
if everything is
It's
working.
a quick developing
For
economy,
you,
of
very
course.
small videos.
It's very important to keep
And the
this
study
balance
process.
between the
During that time, I
development
will,
growth,
because there is no voice,
especially now it's a high-speed period of our growth.
so here like that,
And
we will have some
observe
information
nature,
on the project,
environment.
and this time I will just explain the
President
topic.
also
So the topic
is person
is to bring technology innovation into the grid,
this year we
into the ground, and also to work close to the community.
government,
I would say first,
private sector,
we need to not
NGOs,
forget that basically many people in Africa, but as well also are lacking electricity or at least lacking access to the grid. This is the first
was
point.
our
The second point is that most of the poor people in this country are the most affected because they are not connected.
the margin
But
of
on the other side, they are paying quite a high price on the energy, which is crazy, and especially as they buy fossil fuel energy as well as also good energy, coal, and everything. So this is the first point. Second point, we have also another issue.
organizing
Saying
matching
that
between providers of green technologies,
which have been
green
developed,
solutions,
were not really successful to be scaled up
startups, and
for many reasons we discussed on that
recipients.
because sometimes they were not appropriate or
private
even
business,
let's say disconnect
industrial
the
players,
reality of people for them to buy it.
we are
So
organizing
this
matching
project,
to invite
we are focusing, as I was saying, on
international partners, mainly financial institutions,
which
to
really
provide
makes
some
sense. The first one
funding
is
to
really
such
new. I will give you some video on that. But the second one also is rural hosting communities.
for
In
during
this
Soviet
project,
Union,
we have
Uzbekistan was like Qatar. So we had the biggest gas deposits on the territory of Soviet Union. In almost 50 years, Uzbekistan provided and visited all Soviet Union, major Soviet Union countries. So, and our energy system was mainly constructed on using fossil fuel, gas,
So it's important to fix do this stability have or not sufficient access to water, for example. So the mix of technology
but now we are quickly switching to renewable energy. So huge, massive investment was made to renewable energy, and till 2030, the share of renewable energy will reach 50%. But 3 years ago, it was probably around, let's say, 4 or 5%. Yes. So you can learn more about our achievements So because we attracted a huge investment from Aquapower, for example, 15 million US dollar. Yes, 50 million. Amunayan is very close friend of mine. Really good guy. He's visiting Uzbekistan. Probably now he's spending half of his time in Uzbekistan. Maybe 1 week in Saudi Arabia, 1 week somewhere, some other country, and almost 10 days a week, 2 weeks in Uzbekistan. Aquapower, the biggest investment which made by Aquapower outside of Saudi Arabia is Uzbekistan. Also, many countries, UAE also very active, ADNOC, Masdar, all these companies investing a lot to renewable energy, mainly solar panel, because we have 360 days, yes, a lot of sun, so it's, 60% of our territory is desert and semi-desert, that's why. Also, now we are constructing middle corridor to provide green energy. Also, Uzbekistan is investing a lot to green hydrogen, blue hydrogen,
provide energy in the permanent way.
Let's say we are doing a lot to switch our economy from like Soviet style to the green model. Also, we have a lot of legacy which comes from the Soviet period. It's a huge industrial plant. It's metallurgy, chemical plants, mining. Also, we are working to switch to new technologies, green technology. That's why green economy for us is not just, just like some nice sound, but we are taking a lot of real steps in action. And this event also works as an instrument to bring more investment for bringing solutions and technologies to Uzbekistan. You can see our main areas. Yes. So, you can maybe at least consider how we can collaborate. Also, we can invite you as a partner to organizing this Eco-Expo event, because every country participates very actively. Saudi Arabia, also from last year, Aquapower as a beacon, also on demonstrating new technologies. Recently, we also signed a huge agreement for Chinese companies on the constructing waste-to-energy plants. The total investment was $1.3 billion. It's 8 actually plants. So, and I hope starting from 2027, so around 40% of our waste collected products used for generating energy. Also, we are very actively working with landfills. So, Before we had 200 markets across the country, and till now, in the last 3 years, we closed almost 40% of them. Also, we're using very interesting technology, which comes from South Korea, from China, just covering especially
local initiative, but also how can you
materials,
local initiative
drilling,
based on
and getting some methane gas, and just use them for generators, so just to prevent all this methane gas emissions in the air.
To impact on the ground has always been
It's also
quite tricky.
good achievement.
Our approach is what we
That's
have
why
done, but maybe also to say that
clean tech,
we have not been opportunity to work with refugees, but we have more
but in general, I can say we are doing a lot, and we have what we can share with our partners, but also for us,
take one example of how we have engaged youth
knowledge
in Africa is that
the best experiences from other countries,
particularly
and if your organization
because sometimes when we talk about capital finance, we look only through the lens of formal structure, forgetting to know that in the informal sector they are also making contributions in climate action, but no attention is being paid on. So what we do
когда
is
разговариваем, фотографируем живую. And
we organize
I think we're also very interested
young innovators in
for
their
your
respective communities come to this
let's
event and
discuss
demonstrate
what
their
we can do
talent.
together.
And through this process, we identify potential projects that could lead to startup in their community. And with collaboration with local innovation hub, we partner with local innovation hub and support this different initiative through mentorship, through providing them grants so that they can ensure the implementation of the different solutions in their community. So that is one approach that we don't only build but we also ensure that the project is being implemented. And we stay very closely with the different innovators so as to monitor their progress and also to ensure that where we have other opportunities to support them, we make that available to them. Like for example, what we are thinking as next phase is a kind of an acceleration phase. How do we connect such local initiative with funding opportunities from maybe the World Bank or from the African Union? So that is one aspect. The second aspect about how do you scale? From our observation, implementing projects in Africa, we have come across potential investors who are interested in funding projects, but they lack bankable projects. So it's difficult to convince them to make such an investment because there are no bankable projects to demonstrate that these are successful business approach. So what we have done in Mali and Gambia through our asset protect project is that we work with communities jointly together to develop business model that meets the need of this community. In your presentation, we talked about the willingness to pay, which is something very challenging. Because initially, when we designed the project, we were aiming to install 60 kilowatt peak in these different communities. But when we went to this community, we realized that their energy demand is not up to 60, but also their income, their monthly income was not also reasonable enough to sustain such a project, because the overall goal of the project was to assess the economic viability of an agricultural system in a decentralized approach or a decentralized setup. So what we did was that we decided to connect such a system with other productive ways of energy, such as the processing of food, cooling system, and also introducing high valuable crops,
such as broccoli and also strawberry, which can bring them more income and they will be able to pay for services. So we are still in the phase of obtaining results for this project, but we think that this is the best approach when you work closely together with the community to understand their need and also to identify the best way of paying such investment. It has been a very challenging journey because it's not only the issue of the transfer of technology, but also aspect of having land, which has been challenging, but also challenging coming from local partners because they also have their own specific in terms of selecting of the type of technology or the type of brand of technology, particularly when you think about solar energy. There are so many solar brands in Africa competing for the market. So there are also these conflicts between you coming in to introduce an innovation, but then there's also local partners that have their own to promote specific products. So these are common things that you observe when you are trying to transfer innovation in communities that are particularly out of the picture. So these are two experiences that we
trying to explain what is meeting next.
So first program I will stop here for now and then second program NDC third program climate financing for the energy transition. On an outline basis we organize workshops focus on the minister and delegates discussions and across all the 9 organizations we organize workshops on forward and capacity to the two project management. This way, different financial institutions working to participate in financing renewable mobilities. As expenditure, I will hear from investors. They have money, there is no project. The country is saying, they have project, and they don't want money. So we are implementing and what we realize is that the mismatch of sometimes the requirement of different lack of requirement for investors. Gap. One of the things that so that's number 2. This part is and maybe the third one is when the police are saying the police is the world largest the world famous also this event for the very young so we will invite you to join our live
So when will be organized?
There is some of the organized the side of workers. There are people that are the first one is the margin. You know that less than 1% of the workers goes to the owners of the other. So it's important that we shift from essence to where everything we have is at 2 space. It's 25 to 30%. And also with this, we need to transform the development where we go to the local community. That's one thing. The second one is great discipline displacement to the national planning and reform. And the third one that I want to is to invest in people as we are doing. Invest in people and local. Try to make them African states have the come to the next 20 years that there's
Thank you so much. I was just trying to put the video I will try to put the video, so if by chance the sound is good, otherwise I will explain the perspective of my project.
expert from from other partners to help you bring this joint. So yes, let us give you the project management meeting.
Next we have a meeting with
Alright, decided to pass it regard.
of course.
Really doesn't come back to join.
Perfect. Well, if you allow me, I think Harun will also meet you again. Then I could just get you in there.
I sent you
Sorry for my super. Yes.
Thank you.
I will ask one additional question because first about the establishment of these people, because many people understand and believe that they will just move away very soon, which is not true.
But for this
So at
event,
the end,
we
they
really
are
want
there for quite a long time, unfortunately.
have you as
Probably
one
the
partner.
case, they will stay for
So
quite
it
a long
also
time.
will be good promotion
For
for your
example, in
organization in
Djibouti,
Central
it is
Asia
not
because
direct
all Central
change,
Asian
it
countries,
is a
all
war,
CIS countries will
about
participate,
South Sudan and
and all
others.
ministers
But
of Central Asia
I would say,
will
in
come
addition,
to participate.
some of them may be part
So we
of
just
the
started
climate change
last
movement.
this year.
But if they move some very poor area in the
Of course,
country,
we will
it
do
is
it
also
immediately.
sometimes because they have nothing to
I
survive
will
abroad.
make the
So
country
at the
report
end,
to
because of
Prime
the
Minister
war
and
or
President,
something else, they
get
just
some
move.
approval, and we will do it very
But
quickly.
as you said, aussi, it's clear it has to be on
Also,
the
I
policy.
will
We say, so two
promote
countries we are there,
among
they do
our
something,
neighboring countries,
which is part of the thing. But
Kyrgyz, Turkmen,
I have one question. Besides the refugee component of the, let's say,
good
poor,
representatives of
vulnerable communities, I would say, what could be the main recommendation we could have in mind? But I have some, personally, towards the governments. Because for me, most of the main parts which is missing, usually it is the country component. Because if we just forget the population, okay, we just agree about the affordability, the willingness to pay, everything. So we know about that. I'm not saying we can deal with everything, but why not? But endorsing in national policy means somewhere why they didn't put in place a kind of strategy to fully support private component, which is almost ready to be there. In this example we have private components, but they struggle. And at the end, they sell only some, let's say, a sample of technologies, which is not all the times are appropriate, because they can survive with. But what could be the recommendation here to say, hey guys, if you want, what should be put in place? So if you want to start with this question.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for this very interesting question. Maybe before I answer the question, I think you mentioned something very important when you were talking about the migration, the migrant context. In my context, where climate change is also affecting communities, they also want to move, but they don't know where to move. So the technology that we are introducing in those communities was to support them to adapt to their reality. And the interesting thing also that we neglected is that most of these communities, they are aware of their challenges. They know exactly, if you ask them what is the problem, what are your difficulties, they will tell you, we need water. The temperatures are very hot. The prices of our goods are so cheap because when it's harvest season, it's just surplus in the market. So how do we prolong the sale of our product? So they are quite aware of all these different challenges. Back to your question, I think for me, the most appropriate approach, which I think so far has been successful in the way we are doing our project, is the support of local entrepreneurs. Because these people, they stay there, they develop sustainable business models that create a market market environment for the technology that has to be brought in. So local entrepreneurs is the starting point. I think once there is a kind of a boom, local entrepreneur happening, then you might see a bigger company coming in. One approach that we are also doing is that we are linking our business model to local banks. Because our thinking is that when the local bank will see, because, maybe I should start by saying that some of these local communities that we are working, they don't have bank accounts. And so it's sometimes difficult to estimate their economic power. So when we are working with them, we ask them that it's important to create a bank account because through that, the bank also can see how much money is staying in their respective account. And if they approach the bank for a loan, it makes it more easy. So that is also another concept of how can you ensure long-term sustainability and also to attract investors. So having local entrepreneurs, that is keeping the local economy booming, and also the bank seeing that things are happening, there is a takeover in the local community, that also attracts local investors. So this is my recommendation of how this could be resolved. Thank you.
How do I pass there? Good luck. No, they're coming. Trinidad and Tobago are coming here again. They will be meeting. Ahmed, I have Trinidad and Tobago minister coming today. Another one. Where? Here. 10 o'clock. 10. Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. It's lady, she's waiting. Hello. I'm doing well. Yes? Hi Sarah, nice to meet you. I'm Jerome.
Those people who are
Jerome.
I
I know, I saw it.
So remember this
Yes.
is that
Okay.
they are maybe they will not stay there for long.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes. No, absolutely. Inclusivity and is central to our organization. It's one of our three core values. So something we take very seriously, even if it's not at the core of our mandate. The core of our mandate is the green economy and the facilitation of green projects. But inclusivity is a very strong component of our DNA. So yes, absolutely. I'd love to hear more about what you do and how we can support you from our side. Please tell me, so do you organize events?
We normally have trainings.
Okay.
One of the modules we train on is
And there are a lot of
Yes.
projects
so
in
sometimes
Ghana,
we
Rwanda.
need support to bring
There are
people with
several
disabilities
groups
together
that are very
Yes.
big
to
projects.
build their capacity on
So they have access to funds that we need there. Yeah.
maybe I don't know how
And also
We could definitely bring this component during one of our events in Dubai to address the importance of providing sustainability, the knowledge and best practices for people with disability or discrimination. Yes, absolutely.
they also have organizations
And also they are really struggle and they know the situation.
are not
And it
capable,
means
their
even to
capacity
work
is
with
not
these people,
very high
it's
to
a very long
interact with
process.
international.
You cannot go there. You need to have a good idea, a good plan. It's very formalized. You need to have agreement. You need to have a respect. The political code, which is very important to do this. So when we visit the plant, we want to make sure we don't ask anyone.
So we don't finance directly ourselves. We match make, we bring financing by collaborating with all of the organizations that are here at COP. So far we're focusing on energy, infrastructure and water. But in the context of inclusivity, we would love to bring that topic throughout our discussions. So what I could imagine is we could look at collaborating together on, bringing the topic of inclusivity within climate on a regular basis in our organization. Whether it's through, as you mentioned, we could provide a platform for your workshop. But also invite you to come and speak in our events in the Valley to extend the awareness and bring your activity organization to a more international role. Yeah? I'll give you my contact. I don't have business card anymore. But look, you can take a
but the guys will be in position to pay. And we know if the private sector has to be somewhere, it needs to have a kind of perimeter with a number of consumers. Because in the past, remember the services company and all these parts, we struggled to have enough clients to make things feasible.
Oh, okay, it's gonna work. Oh, okay.
Secondly, yes, they are also fully aware, for example, about the conservation for food, because they produce food, they are farming, but they are not in position to sell, or at least to use in the long term, because everything is collapsed very soon due to the weather conditions. This is a challenge also, but in that case, I would say it's a kind of different perspective, because it's a community-based technology.
28
The
years
is
ago.
different. So going back to the policy side,
It's our pleasure meeting you. Let's be in touch. Yes. Yeah, we keep in touch. Absolutely.
on how we can facilitate what's what you are seeing,
Camera not recording.
community, stakeholders, startups, innovators, and also retailers. And here I would advocate for innovative things, for example, as tax abatements. Because it's a small market, it will create almost no revenue. So why not do
Sarah,
something
yeah,
innovative?
you can plug, but I
For the
have
population,
ministers coming.
free of charge.
Yeah,
So why not
yeah, you can
trying
plug,
to mix,
absolutely.
as I was saying,
Sorry,
because
we don't have a
we need to
meeting room,
de-risk
so we meet the ministers.
So de-risk is a perception.
I have a problem with that.
If you don't have the framework,
Okay.
this is a risk. As you were saying, sizing the installation is complex because you need to have a very long-term perspective. And we need also somewhere to also make people confident of the process. Because
I'll put it on my
some
chair.
vulnerable population don't want to have a counterpart because everything will be visible and they will collapse some supports based on the community. And we can understand that because if you really struggle, people will say, okay, you need something at the end. Why not to pay full price? So they need to develop to be positioned to pay for external services like education and it's also complex. So here again, I think the next issue could be really fresh air about the way we are dealing with that. So this is why I'm really confident of this project, not to deliver the final solution, but at least to try to moderate some perspectives because we are not humanitarians. We will work with humanitarians, but we are from the other side. So it's good also because humanitarians, they are very well organized, but they rely on donations, they rely on leasing, there's a two category of people deal with their revenue, the number of children, the dividends, and everything, and so it's complex. So again, another question is to say, how can we bridge all this innovation through this kind of project? To feel different of the project, because I know that the RCD is also dealing with assessments, with evaluation. We just finalized an evaluation now, coming from the ground, to at the end allow all the stakeholders to be more comfortable, because you know at the end it could be a miss, because even if we develop the best solution, the same challenge will be the same. At the end, or we can, in the long term perspective, put that of the policy side. This financial perspective not to be heavy because all the ones that already exist and are very expensive. So even if they create benefits, they are very expensive. So all we can moderate it to put something on the table to be innovative enough. This would be an additional question.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Maybe just to follow up also to what you said about that the communities might be afraid to keep money in the bank because then it's easy to monitor and see how much they earn. I fully agree, but I think also, because that is exactly what we are trying to observe. Because the question for me will be, why are they afraid people to see that they are making money? Maybe because the money is not enough, then we should ask the next question, what can we do then to improve your source of income? So for me, that is how we are looking at it. If it's not enough, then let's think of how best we can increase your economic earning, so that you, because I think accountability is something that is good. And if you're making enough money, I don't see why you should be afraid of accountability. So that is one thing. And these are things that we are thinking on how to, because in most of the installations that we are doing, these are small scale. And there is a vast, since it's linked to agriculture, there is land space where they can increase the agricultural production. But the challenge they always have is that where would they sell it? So if there is market and then they increase their production, then that will bring also more income into them. With respect to your question on how do you connect this project, I think it's quite challenging. Because so far what we have been doing is to come up with a methodology to establish successful business cases, particularly in the agricultural sector. Because we are quite aware that it's important to consider case study specific, because you can use the same approach in all communities. So what we are trying to establish is a methodological framework whereby once we have a successful model, then we can try to see how to replicate it in other communities. I think once we have this kind of a successful model, then we can approach potential donor organization. And this is a working model. Maybe if that is the priority, you can use our model to scale whatever you are doing. So that is the goal. Our main goal is having these demonstrators, pilots, which should serve as a kind of a working framework that we can implement to other organizations that are having the same interest or priority in achieving such goals. Thank you.
Something I want is operate effectively. When taking into account studying the there are many opportunities that are growing. The first one is that the communities will need the second one is that it's a lack of institutional support. Then the third one is that the local farmers is not directly goes to the communities. This is working. And the third one is the assistance to people. We have four important strategies that we need to work in the process. So, institutional support depends. Maybe I mentioned the police before. It's not only police now facilitate the local and communities to have these opportunities to serve part in their policy. Also, technology, the technology is still very, expensive for the communities. So how can we operate so that we can have access to more accessible, more technology for communities, and also make sure that we bring the capacities, we make them autonomous, independent. That's how many resources that are related
We are almost at the end of the time, but I will ask just one question, the last one, but and after I will wrap up. We are at top 30 here. We know how it is difficult even to agree on a set of indicators and reporting frameworks for adaptation. We even know, in capture, even again for this COP, like the last one, they didn't even agree on it at PCC conclusion, so all the time the same narrative. Even if we need COPs to go beyond, but what could be the, let's say, if we have one word to say on the plenary, to say, hey guys, at least take into account, thanks to our subject, what could be our key words for these people to say, please do something here?
That is a good question. I think for me, maybe I could extend it to the 1 second. Because in the past 2 years, we have been working on the topic just energy, which is good. Just energy transition talks about transparent changing to more clean energy sources, which is inclusive and equitable. But I also want to, my 1 sentence would be more that we are talking about just energy transition, but there are communities without energy. So maybe we could also talk about just energy assessing energy could be a priority also, not just energy transition.
So, my contribution, I was really surprised to ask my two gentlemen colleagues, because I know they will say also something. So, for me, I would say, probably I would be really provocative. This is the middle of what you say. To say, guys, you are losing a crazy huge opportunity to develop business in your country. These guys are struggling, but they are paying poor and bad energy. You can change both the market, create technology to be available everywhere. So, and you can also jump in a very crazy huge market. And the front runner could be the best one at the regional platform to develop this kind of technology. So, as you say, Lucy, don't consider this is the minor topic. It could be a crazy huge topic for you. As soon as you put in place the good framework. The good framework will cost you a small part, but you can attract. Attract a number of stakeholders which are willing to be there. And if you attract these stakeholders, it will not be debt, it can be market-based, which is benefit for the country at the end, because the donors will go for climate finance, will create some additional debt to your country. So do the game, attract them, and you will see the change. This could be my final word at the end. Okay? So thank you so much for being here. We will still continue discussing about the Sony project elsewhere and follow the project. I think it's an interesting one. Thank you so much.